2022, I made a video titled The $10 Camera That Everyone Should Own. And after a week's time, the video blew up way more than I thought it ever would. Now that video talked about Digicams, which are these older compact digital cameras from the early 2000s. And you know, I don't regret making that video, but I do, however, regret what it did to the prices. I remember finding these in the thrift store for $1 a piece, maybe sometimes even $2 a piece. But after I made that video, the prices of these little cameras skyrocketed. But despite that, the video did exactly what it was intended to do. And that was to share with the world the beauty of these older digital compact cameras. And considering the current photography trends and how the younger generation is practically folding at their knees for the vintage aesthetic, these cameras are perfect for that. And today I want to share with you exactly what makes a Digicam so darn desirable. First and foremost, the camera needs to have a low megapixel count. In fact, it's a requirement. These days, people are chasing the Y2K early 2000s feel and look. And back in those days, they did not have the luxury of shooting with a 36 megapixel camera. They were all shooting with older digital compacts like this. Remember, the lower the megapixels, the better. Next up, it needs to have a flash. The flash is single-handedly the most important aspect to a good Digicam. When you pair this up with the older CCD sensors in these cameras, you really get that look and feel of an old disposable or 35mm point-and-shoot film camera. And this particular look is why everybody is going crazy for it. It's perfect for raves, festivals, just outings with friends, parties even, as long as they're not with P. Diddy. And I think a lot of people took a liking to these cameras because you get that look without having to pay for film developing. You can get a 550 megabyte SD card and get around 500 photographs. Lastly, a good Digicam needs to be compact and stylish. Now folks, you gotta remember, the cool kids are shooting with these cameras, which means it's either going into a purse or a fanny pack. All jokes aside, I'm a huge fan of these boxy Digicams, and it's an extra added bonus if they are made in Japan, because at that time, the craftsmanship from Japan camera manufacturers were extremely high, hence a lot of these cameras being mostly made out of metal. Now, a lot of photographers are gonna argue that these are kind of just a fad and they're gonna eventually fade out once the look of the vintage feel starts to dissipate. But you gotta understand one thing about Digicams. They are single-handedly changing photography as we know it. We live in a world where technically everybody that owns a smartphone is a photographer. But with the massive influx of people picking up Digicams, you have first-time camera owners who have never picked up a camera before start to learn the intricacies of photography. We are witnessing a movement. And sure, many of these people are going to pick the camera up, use it for a few months, and then completely forget about it. But my prediction is there are going to be a small percentage of people who will go down the rabbit hole of photography and venture off and do so many great things. Because I'm already starting to see people who only use a Digicam create some really beautiful work. And considering the nature of these cameras, they understand that they don't have the newest, the greatest, or the most advanced camera, but rather they have creativity and a love for photography. These cameras are fun, they're capable, but most importantly, this could just be the gateway to the next great generation of photographers. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe. If you didn't enjoy this video, at least drop a like down below because that's what your mom would want you to do. Goodbye.